Hi traders, just want to run through a few trades today. It's been a really good day for me today. Um, the total number of points I've made is nearly 400 points I've made across three currency pairs. Just going to run through with you before sort of outlining a trade that I'm looking at for tomorrow. So first of all, if you look at the US dollar, Canadian dollar trade, this was the discrepancy between the US dollar, Canadian dollar, US dollar becoming more bullish, tax reforms looking good for Trump. You also had the fact that Janet Yellen is going to be leaving as Fed chair, so the replacements that were being ticketed for her post were seen as being more aggressive in terms of hiking rates for the US dollar, so that was bullish US dollar. And the Canadian dollar has obviously been more dovish after the Bank of Canada has been on a seeming cycle of raising hikes from the summer, and then all of a sudden they've got to backtrack once the Canadian dollar is said to be a problem with strength. And as a result, the Canada have come out today and to say, you know, that is definitely not on the cards for the near-term future in a way that it was previously thought. So bottom line is US dollar, Canadian dollar increase. This is where I entered here at 1.25699. It was the weak Canada retail sales that really was the catalyst for my entry. Here it was around this figure here, 1.2572, I think it was exactly. As I say, I just use this platform for planning. I don't use it for trading, but my actual entry here, US dollar, Canadian dollar, was 1.2573. So it's around this area. Entered on that week Canadian retail sales, and my original plan was to take profit here, just under the 1.28, and it did get there in the end, but I pulled out in hindsight a little bit prematurely. I just became a little bit nervous about what Bank of Canada's policy was going to say, and so when price was up here around the 1.2, was it 1.2717? Yeah, there was a sudden spike in the price here. Yeah, it was around, that was it. It was here, this little spike. I just caught that before the Bank of Canada came out announcing any hate. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to take the profit there, because that pushed me over the line for the month quite nicely. And I thought, you know, I would be kicking myself if I lost that profit. I just want to take it. So I took it off. In hindsight, it was the wrong thing to do. Price hit my target, and okay, you live and learn, but I'm not going to be too upset about the profit. The second trade is the pound Swiss franc trade that I took. Now this was, again, the Bank of England has an inflation problem. The way they can solve the inflation problem is by raising interest rates. Mark Carney's come out, the Bank of England governor, saying, you know, we're going to look at raising interest rates as a way of solving this problem. The inflation that's rising needs to be controlled. And then there was a data point today, which was the GDP figures out of Great Britain. Now, this politically was a very important data point because it was being billed as a data point which would or would not validate the interest rate hikes. And as it turned out, the GDP was good, so the pound rose. It really rocketed up because everyone knew, aha, now the Bank of England can kind of say politically, look, our economy is doing well, so therefore we can take this this rate hike increase. That's the way the market interpreted it as well. And my original target was 1.3150. Again, it hit it. Now, I took my profit here at 1.3142. Yeah, I was just on. I saw here, you know, we're that close to my target. I thought, okay, you know, don't mess around with that. Just take the profit, and you can see on the intraday charts here, you know, where was it, 1.3142? Yeah, somewhere around here at some point. I just thought, I'm not going to mess around with that. I'm just going to take the profit. I'm happy with that. It's good. And then my third and final profitable trade of the day was Euro US dollar. I've just marked the entrance here. Now, the ECB rate statement's coming out tomorrow. and it's been widely anticipated that the European Central Bank is going to draw back some of their quantitative easing program. That is a bullish um, fact. Now the question is will and to what extent are they rolling back their quantitative easing program? So it's really a bullish kind of scenario for the markets in terms of buying euros, definitely into the expectations of the event. I just bought today when price was down here 1.7748, and I just took profit up here 1.1809. Roughly, that's roughly the kind of areas. I took 35, 40 points. Now, what I'm looking at to do today is I'm looking at any retrace back here overnight to this kind of area. I've just put a buy limit order. I'll buy again to see if I get a drop. As it turns out, I don't think I'm going to get that pullback. But if I get that pullback, I'll try and do the same again overnight and just pull the position before the announcement. Just try and on a buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of trade. Another pair I'm looking at is the Australian US dollar. There was some very weak CPI data coming out of Australia, so folks are saying, okay, push back rate hikes for the Aussie dollar. That's bearish. You can see the reaction of the Australian dollar just immediately sold off very aggressively. And what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at, I almost entered a short here with a stop just into this area, but I'm not going to. But if I see a turning down, I almost sort of, my hesitation was there was a hidden bearish divergence that nearly formed perfectly using this RSI index here. So technicals, fundamentals nearly came together, but it didn't come together quite. And having said that, although I'm not trading it, I'm going to keep an eye on it tomorrow, and I may well get a setup here to further sell the Australian dollar down. Okay, so obviously tomorrow the big news is what's the ECB going to do, how they're going to handle that. I'll be looking to trade out of that if I can. And again, US dollar, Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar is expected to weaken significantly with the statement coming out of Bank of Canada. So I am putting a buy limit order here at the 50% fib. So if price goes back down to this area, I'll be entering here, the stop under there, and we'll see the targets from there. But I'm expecting the US dollar, Canadian dollar to rise from here. We've got a break and close over that area. That tells you, we are heading for, almost certainly heading for higher prices here. Everything in this. In fact, even as I'm looking at it, I'm getting more and more convinced that that's almost just a straight buy, but I'm going to try and wait for the pullback. If I get the pullback, I'm going to enter and try to go long on the US dollar, Canadian dollar again. Okay, guys, that's what I'm looking at. I hope you enjoy this video. If you like it, hit like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, and thanks for listening.